What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a new potential series. I say potential because, well, look with your eyeballs here. We are an ultimate Ironman, a UIM. This is definitely going to be a test run. I've never played one before. And for those that don't know, a UIM means that you can't access a bank. There are a few methods that you can store some items, especially with your player-owned house. That's going to be very, very important for any UIM. So we're going to be looking to train construction pretty early. But as of right now, we are fresh off a tutorial island. I did actually make this account a little while ago, but I just sat on it, just finding the right time to start this account finally. Well, after all that waiting, though, I still have no idea what I'm doing on this account. We're just going to be kind of winging it. So join me on this adventure. I will say, though, before we officially get started here, I said this is a test run, and my goal is to make it to the Corrupted Gauntlet complete Song of the Elves right now. Not right now, I mean for now, and then we'll see how we're enjoying the game mode and if we want to continue. Alright, so without really knowing what we want to be doing, the easy answer, the easy solution is to just start questing. So with the help of the trusty quest helper, we're going to be doing it in the optimal Ironman order filter. And the first quest, a very, very famous quest, very iconic quest, Cook's Assistant. We're going to go pick up an egg and all the other supplies that we're going to need, and then we'll get Cook's Assistant done. And then I'm sure that we'll follow up with some other classics like X marks the spot and things of that nature. But yeah, let's just get started here. And I'm still holding on to all of the starter items right now. I don't know what might be useful for us, so I'm not going to drop it just yet. I think in the early game here, we're actually not really going to face too much of an issue without having a bank. Because honestly, as a new Ironman, a lot of the times your inventory is just packed with items anyways, as you do multiple quests all at once. And we're likely going to be doing the same thing here. We're only a few minutes into gameplay here, and I'm already having to walk. I'm out of run energy. It depleted so quickly. I have a feeling this is going to be a common theme. Cook's Assistant is a pretty interesting quest because if you know what you're doing, you can actually just collect all the resources you need before you even officially start the quest. You go through the dialogue here with the cook, and there you have it. Cook's Assistant completed 1 quest point, 300 cooking EXP. We're on the board. We're level 4 cooking. We're now a total level of 36. All right, the next quest keeping us in the Lumbridge area is going to be Sheep Shearer. And this is going to give us a little bit of crafting EXP. Alright, I was making my way over to start the quest Sheep Shearer, and it just occurred to me, I'm going to need 20 balls of wool to complete this quest. We are already facing our first UIM issue, although, you know, this is not too big of a deal. I guess we will do the balls of wool in multiple trips. We do have, 12 inventory spaces. Alternatively, we could start dropping some items, but again, I have zero idea what use I have for these starter items right now, so I'm just holding on to them for now until I absolutely can't hold on to them any longer. Also, I could just dump them to the general store just to get a little bit GP. That could be pretty valuable. Accidental first little combat on the account here. I meant to be shearing these sheep, but accidentally attacked a ram. And I wonder where oh, there it is. There's actually 2 penguins disguised as a sheep right there. But yeah, let's see if we can win the fight against this level 2 ram, and then we'll go back to shearing the sheep. What feels like 5 years later, we finished off the ram back to our regular scheduled program here of sheep shearing. I just made the realization that I'm going to have to do 2 trips between Fred's farm and Lumbridge Castle, as Lumbridge Castle is the only location with the spinning wheel. So, well, this sucks. Whole lot of running without the run because we're out of stamina. Anyways, looking ahead as we do more quests, we're going to be doing the standard usual quests that are pretty important, pretty integral to any progression, not just Ironman. So things like the Grand Tree, Recruitment Drive, Tourist Trap, very good early quest to do actually. Things of that nature that'll set us up on this account pretty nicely. As we continue with the second inventory of balls of wool now, I just realized we recorded a very terrible intro. I mean, do I even do these YouTube series? But Welcome to the UIM Bagwork. That is our name. A little bit of a pun and a little bit typical, right? Bag puns as a UIM, just like hardcores putting hard in their name, iron, FE. But I thought Bagwork was pretty cool. I don't know. I didn't think too much about it, but I was more surprised it was available than anything, which is why I made the account quite a while ago. And here we are. Sheep shearer complete. We get 60 coins out of that. Level 3 crafting. Next up is going to be Miscellaneous Mystery. So we're going to actually home teleport. Let's make use of the home teleport here. And let's go ahead and do that quest. I believe this was actually a Halloween event initially, and people liked it so much they actually turned it into a quest. So yeah, a little bit of lore behind that. I did not actually fact check that, so could be wrong. Could be wrong. After a whole bunch of cutscenes, we speak to Mandy, and Miscellaneous Mystery complete. 600 crafting XP, couple of gems. I don't know if I have any use for them just yet. Level 7 crafting. Nothing too interesting just yet for us. Birdhouses, which is pretty good. Actually, as an ultimate Ironman, are birdhouses still meta? I have no idea. Alright, between the Halloween quest and now, we're working on the Restless Ghost. It's time to get a little spooky. We're going to be speaking to some ghosts, or trying to anyways. We're going to get the Ghost Speak Amulet upon completion of this quest. So, man, that's something we're going to have to drop and then consistently re-obtain every time. I'm sure you just speak to some NPC or something after the fact though, but let's get done with this quest. Alright, we just finished the Restless Ghost and already made a fool of myself and didn't hit the record button upon completion, but basically we managed to hit level 9 prayer, which gives us access to all of these basic tier offensive prayers. Very nice. We have the Ghost Speak Amulet now, and we're going to be moving on to X Marks the Spot. X Marks the Spot is essentially a quest that teaches you the concept of clues, which is something I'm not really going to be doing other than the very bare minimum. Although, as a UIM, I may have to do some more of those just because I'm going to need to set up stash units anyways. Certain items, for example, off the top of my head, the Bofa itself, actually, when I one day get it, that is storable. And that is X Marks the Spot completed. Ability to receive clue scroll boxes. A beginner clue scroll. I honestly don't think I'll be doing that just yet. We do get an antique lamp. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing with that. Typically with all Ironmen, you want to put EXP into Herblore, but obviously we don't have that unlocked just yet. So maybe we try hold on to it as long as we can. Our very first random event on the account is a sandwich lady, but it's going to be for a bread roll. Anyways, we are here now in Ringington to do Witch's Potion. This is going to give us a little bit of magic XP. Nice and easy quest to do. Will only take a couple of minutes. As part of Witch's Potion, I had to pick up an Eye of Newt, but here at Betty's shop, maybe we'll pick up a blue wizard hat while we're here. I don't know. It only costs 2 GP, but now we have a hat. I'm sure we're going to be doing some magic down the line. Well, back with Hetty, and we just have to collect a few items, but that's essentially the quest. Oh, wait, we got a drink from the cauldron. And 325 magic EXP just like that. Once again, I imagine that's a couple of levels. We're now level 4 magic, level 5 combat, and we can cast Confuse and start enchanting some form of bolts. But we have access to Windstrike from level 1. We're probably going to start chucking Windstrike at random mobs to level up magic. Up next is Client of Kourend. So naturally, we're heading to the continent of Zaya already. Now, what's on Kourend? Well, the Chambers of Xeric's RuneScape's first raid. That's something I'm looking forward to, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. As I said earlier, our first goal, our first little checkpoint is to get to the Corrupted Gauntlet, and we'll reassess the situation there. But if we get further than that, I am thinking of the Chambers of Xeric's already. So getting around the world early game is difficult regardless of who you are, but doing Client of the Kourend, let's take a look at the world map here. Look how big the Kingdom of Great Kourend is. You can't even zoom out all the way to see the entire Kourend, but basically you have to navigate all around, kind of like a little tour around Kourend, But back to Veos here on the Pisk docks, and we're going to be finishing up Client of Kourend. So we get the I don't know, but this memoirs thing, and this is actually the thing that you're going to upgrade to the Book of the Dead later. So right now it's just TP, so that's pretty nice actually. Once again though, we also get 2 antique lamps, and I have no idea what to do with them. I have 3 of those bad boys now. This next quest is an indication of a new era, as we're doing Pandemonium, the sailing starter quest. In the middle of the Pandemonium quest, very important step. Didn't take too long, and that is Pandemonium complete. We now have access to the entire sailing skill, and we did actually pick up level 2 along the way, but we're getting another 300 sailing EXP here, pushes us up to level 5. Children of the Sun completed, 1 quest point, and access to Varlamore. Now that we made our way all the way to Varrock, there's actually a whole lot more quests to be done around this area. Next up is another iconic free-to-play quest, just like Cook's Assistant, Romeo and Juliet. And that is Romeo and Juliet complete. No tangible rewards except 5 quest points. Kind of crazy, but you know, Romeo and Juliet being one of those OG quests, it feels like back in the day they just really arbitrarily assigned quest point numbers to quest rewards. These days it's more, well, it makes more sense. There's more logic to it. A Grandmaster quest is going to net you more points than, say, well, Romeo and Juliet. These days, this would definitely be a 1 quest point quest. Sticking to the Varrock area, we now have to do Gertrude's cat. Although I made a mistake, or more like an oversight, I should have picked up a sardine from one of the fishing shops earlier. Now I have to make my way back over to, I think Port Sarum is the closest one to get a sardine for this quest. Now, upon completion of this quest, we are going to get a kitten with us, but I don't know if we can really handle that at this point in time. We don't really have a supply of fish. Nevertheless, we're going to get this quest done just for the rewards and quest point. Gertrude's cat completed. We can now start adopting kittens, and then, or fostering them, I should say, and then handing them off to loving families in West Ardy. If you know, you know. And we're going to be heading back to Lumbridge to start the Rune Mysteries quest. This one is actually going to take us from Lumbridge to Draenor, all the way back up to Varrock, so whole lot of walking involved for this one, unfortunately. But it's an important quest, as this one unlocks runecrafting. Actually, technically, this one doesn't unlock runecrafting. You can already runecraft, but it does enable you to mine rune in pure essence. I always thought it unlocked the skill, but I guess not. Rune Mysteries completed. Yeah, right here it says Rune Essence Mine Access. That's all it is. And an Air Talisman. Alright, looking ahead, we have to do Tree Gnome Village according to the quest optimized Ironman order right now anyways. But the issue for us is that we're only level 4 magic and we have to fight a Khazard Warlord. Yes, you can safe spot it, but typically, I think at this point in time, I would have a little bit higher magic, so maybe we figure out a way to get our magic up a little bit, so at the very least we could cast Fire Strike or something rather than Wind Strike. Anyways, I'm doing a quick lap here at the Draenor Village rooftop because I do believe this is an easy task or something like that, so might as well get it done as we think ahead here. Jump off this final ledge, and indeed it is. It is a diary task, and we get level 2 agility. No way. Okay, we're making our way up to Varrock right now. I just want to hit up the clothes shop there and pick up a few items that are going to give us a little bit of mage bonuses, I think. We're going to have to part way with our Ultimate Ironman gear. Obviously, we can reclaim that anytime we want, but it has no use right now as we're really not going to be meleeing anything. And by the time we do, we'll actually have some real armor rather than this cosmetic. Although I do believe they provide a little bit of stats, but nothing too crazy. Okay, I just made the realization. Now we actually have to use our brain. We can't just mindlessly follow the quest helper. We're gonna have to think for ourselves. One of the problems we have right now is inventory space, so we're getting rid of some stuff. And the second problem we have is GP. We're going to need some. We're going to need some GP to buy more runes and maybe get our hands on one of the staves. Ideally, an air staff would be nice. But yeah, let's go ahead and sort things out. We don't need the air talisman. Honestly, I don't even know if that was worth anything. And then we are actually going to have to go figure out a way to obtain some GP right now. I think we head to Varlamore. Just across the street, we did pick up the priest gown, both the top and robe bottoms. And then also we picked up the wizard hat from earlier. This is going to be some nice mage bonuses. And plus, I don't know if we're going to be able to hold it onto these for that long, but black clothing is required for, I believe, the Shadow of the Storm quest. So we're just thinking ahead right now. We are here in Varlamore and we're currently running south to the Hunters Guild. I'm sure some people are going to be familiar with this, but ever since the release of Varlamore, there's a new nice early game GP method for Ironman, and that's to hop worlds and pick up these wines found on, I believe, the top floor of the Hunters Guild, and then you sell it back to the winery or a general store of some kind, and then actually it's pretty decent GP. Apparently it can be up to 200k GP an hour. We're not going to do too much of it, obviously, because, well, world hopping and purchasing stuff isn't exactly the most exciting thing, and it certainly doesn't directly progress your account in any sense. So yeah, we just need some starter cash right now, so I'll do a little bit of it. And I'm still holding onto these antique lands from earlier. I think I've decided what I'm going to put it into. Obviously, if we had Herblore unlocked right now, we would put it into that. But for now, we're going to put these into agility. We'll hit level 6 off of one of those right there. Another 500 agility, level 9 agility now, and then this one as well from X marks the spot, 300 agility, and we're up to level 11. Couple of unlocks on shortcuts and whatnot here, nothing too relevant it looks like, but yeah, let's get to the wine. Where is Hunter Guild? I think it's to the west actually. All right, we've made it to the spot. This is the wine we're talking about, the Eclipse Red. So we pick one up and then we're gonna have the world hop. Now, a regular Ironman or a hardcore, one with a bank, you can easily just grab a whole bunch of these, bank them, and then you can sell them in bulk. But for us, looks like we're just gonna have to do one inventory at a time. So a whole lot of world hopping, unfortunately. And then maybe even a couple of trips, depending on how much GP we want to rack up. All right, we have about 24 wines, and we have to make our way southwest to Alderaan. I believe we just head to Sunset Coast here, and not sure if it's going to cost us anything. And if it does, hopefully we have the GP, but it's literally just right across the waters, Alderaan. And there's a certain NPC we sell to for a whopping 700 GP each. At the Alderaan Brewery, somewhere around here, we need to find our boy Antonius. There he is. And he's going to hook us up. We're going to sell an Eclipse Red for 700. And are we going to have to world hop here? No, it's just 700. 700. 700. Not even any world hopping involved during this portion. So, well, might as well just dump all of it. And there we go. We have 17k GP. I think I'm going to do one more trip of this, and then we're going to be good to go with enough runes and whatnot to actually do Gnome Village and probably some future quests as well. Back in Varrock, we're spending some of our GP to purchase air and mind runes. That should last us a while. Maybe we'll top off with some more mind runes because we are going to be using it for the other elements as well. So let's just buy another 10 packs. And one more thing before we head off to Artie, we're going to purchase the Staff of Fire. Very nice. And we can also get rid of the bronze sword now. I guess I'm just going to drop that on the floor. And we're going to make our way to Artie. How we're going to do that is we're going to head to the lever. So we're going to be very briefly in the wilderness for a couple of seconds, maybe not even. It is also a diary task, I believe. Maybe it's Artie to Varrock and not Varrock to Artie. I don't know, but we're going to make our way to Artie and begin Gnome Village. All right, here we go. Pulling the lever. It's going to give us a warning. Yes, and don't show this warning again. We'll be okay. Quickly pull the lever again. No one's even here. And we're in Ardy. And that was not a diary task, so yeah, it's the other way around. We'll worry about that down the line. Let's just get started on Gnome Village. Heading into Gnome Village, it just occurred to me I have to run through these hill giants. And I have no food on me. Oh, and I'm doubling back. I'm trolling. I'm still level 3 with only 10 health, so I think that was the only dangerous part. Very lucky that we got through it, and we won't have to make this trip again. I don't think. We can just speak to Elkoi for future trips back to Gnome Village. Gnome Village is an incredibly nice quest to get done as soon as possible, as it unlocks spirit trees. And spirit trees are a really good transportation method, especially in the early game where, just like right now, we're having to walk around everywhere. So any time save to get from place to place is going to be very nice. And we'll be able to get between Varrock and Ardy with spirit trees just like that, rather than having to rely on the wildy leper. Alright, here we go. Let's speak to the Khazard warlord, and then very shortly there's going to be a fight that commences. We have to run away now, and oh. Yeah, this is what I get for not bringing any food. And so that was the first death on our Ultimate Ironman. Not to worry though, obviously this is not a hardcore, so it doesn't really matter. Mostly doesn't matter. In fact, we're going to be purposely planking quite a bit. Although obviously I did not intend for that to happen right there. So we're going to have to run all the way back and pick up our stuff. And honestly, I'm thinking I'm incredibly under-leveled for this fight right now, even though it's safe spottable. To be honest, in the past, I've followed quest guides and whatnot to progress in the early game for Ironman, and in hindsight, I don't think this quest is something I would be doing this early. But being that we're not a hardcore, we're okay to take some risks. Not sure if this is going to be doable at all. I imagine we're actually going to splash quite a bit with Wind Strike, but we are going to get a lot of levels as we go, and then we're eventually going to be able to use Fire Strike, and hopefully we'll be able to get the job done. I really didn't account for those Khazard troopers that were hanging around him to also be aggressive on me though, but hey, I mean, we are currently level 5.7, not even 6. Alright, we're getting our stuff back. I've come for the orbs. Okay, now we gotta run. Yeah, oh, well, we do end up hitting a 1 right there, but I was about to say, if we end up doing absolutely no damage, I'm just going to use some of these runes to train up our magic, and then we'll come back. A max hit of 2! Looks like this might be doable, though. Oh, this might be it. We might have it set up. As long as these guys don't interrupt me. We'll flick Mystic Will. I don't think I've ever intentionally used this prayer before, but here we are. Well, I'm going to do this for who knows how long, and I'll check back in with you guys when we're done. It really has been several minutes, but we are approaching the end. I'm even sitting here flicking Mystic Will. Couple more hits here. Level 9 magic. We've been racking up the magic levels. I think we've jumped 5 magic levels from just fighting this boss, if we can even call him a boss. Alright, let's pick up those orbs and let's get out of here. Let's check out what we've unlocked. Water Strike, Earth Strike, not quite Fire Strike yet. What level is Fire Strike unlocked at? Level 13. And just like that, we're going to speak to King Bolrin once again, and we'll be finished with this quest. Massive reward that we'll check out in just a second. And of course, the access to spirit trees. There we go, 11,450 attack EXP. That's going to jump us from level 1 to 28. Now that we have access to spirit trees, we're going to head back to Varrock by teleporting to the Grand Exchange here. And there was one quest, or mini quest, I'm not sure if it's a full-blown quest, that I neglected to do here at Varrock. And that's Daddy's Home. It's going to set us up for some construction. Well, we just wrapped up Daddy's Home, and I was expecting a quest interface to pop up, but I forgot that it's not an actual quest, it's a mini quest. But we hit level 8 construction now, and a couple of nice things here. Sailing related, actually, level 7. Beer barrel, no, actually, I think that goes into POH, but level 8, the oak hull and hull parts requires level 20 sailing. And next up is Azil's Cult. I'm not exactly big on the OSRS lore, but I do believe this quest, Azil Cult, is pretty much the beginning in terms of Secrets of the North and Desert Treasure 2, that kind of quest line. It all adds up together. Anyways, as we continue to work on Azil Cult and then a couple of more quests around this area, now that we're back in Arty, we're going to be able to do the Easy Diary here very shortly. 1,500 thieving EXP from this quest. That probably does give us a few levels. Level 11. This is why the early game making a new account is so satisfying. The progress comes constantly and so quickly. Of course, being in the area, we finished Clock Tower as well. Just a whole lot of running. Next up, we have Monk's Friend, also in the area. Monk's Friend completed 2,000 woodcutting XP and 8 law runes. We're going to hold on to those law runes for as long as possible. Very useful for teleports when we get the magic level. 15 woodcutting off of that. That's actually enough for oak trees. We are currently working on the Plague City quest, but I have to collect a few items and that has me walking around the entire map. Right now we're at Draenor and I should have picked this up the first go around when passing by, but we're going to pick up the Chronicle and get a couple of teleport cards in there, and this is going to teleport us right to the Champions Guild, so it's a good access to Varrock. Also, if we ever get into a sticky situation, we can teleport out pretty quickly with the Chronicle. Alright, a little bit of a sketchy situation here. We're going to have to pick up that snake grass. Oh, this hobgoblin was out to get me. Please be humble. Pretty humble, actually. Only took like 3 damage. Plague City completed. Access to West Arty, but more on that in future quests. An Arty teleport scroll. That is absolutely huge. 2.4k mining EXP as well, which will probably get us a couple of levels here. 15 mining for, I do believe, iron ore. Yep. So, funny story about this Arty teleport scroll, or mildly interesting story, I suppose. A long time ago on one of my accounts, after I got that scroll, I didn't read it, put it away in the bank, and for the longest time, I didn't have access to the RD teleport, and I had no idea why. Anyways, since we have the gas mask on, we should do Biohazard right now. Okay, so I've always been a spacebar holder when it comes to quests, but every now and then I do skim the dialogue, and obviously I've done these quests countless times now. Biohazard is always a big twist. The plague is a hoax. This King Lathis guy, interesting fella, I gotta say. But that's Biohazard complete. There we go. And according to the quest helper, next on the list is Demon Slayer. I'm not exactly sure why we're doing Demon Slayer at this point in time. Does it have anything to do with RD Easy Diary? I don't think it does, but you know what? We're not going to use any critical thinking. We're just going to go ahead and do Demon Slayer next. Back in Varrock right now to get started on Demon Slayer, and they do warn you, you want to be at least level 15 combat. That's what their recommendation is. Well, I'm nowhere near that at the moment. And I've been thinking, we're going to have to fight Delrith in a little bit here, but I might end up getting ragged by the Dark Wizards. Are we doing this quest too soon? Well, actually, now we're level 13.5 combat, so maybe we're just only slightly under leveled. We'll see how it goes. Yes, now we have our hands on the Silver Light, in which eventually we will turn into the Dark Light, into the Arc Light, into the Ember Light. So, a lot of upgrades. This bad boy is going to be with us for quite a while. Although, being that we're a UIM, we might have to drop this after the Dark Light stage, not too long. I don't know. Alright, we're in the middle of fighting Delrith. We're just doing a little flinching method here. Seems to be working out quite well. And wow, okay. Alright. I thought the level disparity might cause some issues, but not at all. There we have it, Demon Slayer completed, and by now we have completed 20 quests with 29 quest points, so a lot of progress there. On the next one, we will be starting the RD Easy Diary, a huge milestone for any Ironman type account, so I'll be looking forward to doing that.